Well, our late summer planting experiment is just about to come to a close. You can see behind me here the corn is, this is the Indian corn that we planted. It's basically done. And we've started pulling up some of the stalks and feeding them to the cows. And the Sweet Bantam hybrid corn we planted, it never did anything. It tasseled out at about 2 feet high. Some of them were a little bit taller, but didn't really produce anything. It's just way too hot this late in the season, and we didn't get any rain for so long. And well water, I mean, it doesn't have the nutrients that the rainwater has, the nitrogen that it needs. So I fertilized it a few times with nitrogen, and it would do great for a week or so, but it didn't take long to use up those nutrients. So it was just this was an experiment to see if we could actually grow a second summertime crop, or springtime crop I should say, like we normally plant every spring around March or April. So I'm going to call it a successful failure. But as I was pulling up some of the stalks, I decided to check, because I checked a few times, spot checked this Indian corn to see how it did, and it didn't. Some of this, our biggest problem here in Florida is bugs. So these earworms, the corn earworms, get into the corn silks just about the time they get coming onto the plant. They'll get in there. The moths will lay their eggs, and little caterpillars will they'll hatch out, and they eat the corn silks. Well, the corn silks are what make the corn kernels, right? Each one of those silks is connected to a corn kernel. The pollen from the tassels falls onto the silks, which pollinates the fruit, and that's how you get your corn. So a lot of them didn't even pollinate right because they got the earworms in them so quick, so they didn't turn out. The rest of them actually pollinated, but most of the stalks got eat up with the worm before we could ever get them picked. So I didn't 7 dust, which I usually do, and that works really good at getting rid of them. I didn't want to dump a bunch of stuff on them, it just being an experiment. But let me turn the camera around. I'll show you the results we got. So as you can see here, this did not pollinate right. And you can tell because it's just a few corn kernels individually here and there. It's not like they got to eat away. It didn't pollinate right. And a lot of them, they're just small ears. And when you open them up, okay, so this was the Bantam hybrid that we had here. This is not the Indian corn, but you can see they just destroy the corn. It's so frustrating. We had one stalk that I know of that did not get a worm in it. I'll show you that real quick. This guy right here. It did not get a worm in it. They come in the tips. It's where the silks attach. And you can see it didn't pollinate all the way right, but it still did end up with some nice color. So I'm happy with the color that we got here. It just wasn't big enough. I got one more thing to show you. So we did end up with some of these ears, even though they got eat with the worms, we still ended up with some nice varieties of color. Check this out. Ain't that a beautiful variety of corn? Then we got one real ugly one in here I'm going to get rid of, but these are amazing. Even though a lot of them got eat with the worms, so quite a bit lost. When you hide all of the ugly parts, it still is amazing at the variety of colors. I love it. So even though it wasn't a total success, it wasn't a total failure either. I'm so happy with how it turned out with the pollinating colors with just 2 ears from the grocery store that we bought a year or 2 ago just as decoration in the house. Let them dry totally, shelled them out, and saved the seeds, and then we planted that. And one was a red ear, and one was just a yellow multicolor ear. And that's look at all the colors we got. Is that not amazing? So it's a lot of fun. I'm a little bit of a sucker when it comes for colored corns, colored chicken eggs. We got several varieties of chickens. Some of them just for the colored eggs. So sounds crazy, I know, but that's the kind of things I enjoy, and the family enjoys it too. So anyway, so even if you have a total flop with a garden, or what you think is a total flop, you can still find enjoyment in it, and it's a lot of fun. I highly encourage you to get out there, do some gardening. Even if you have absolutely no land, get a flower pot or a couple flower pots and plant some stuff in it. It's a lot of fun. Thank y'all so much for watching today. We'll see you next time.